on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having an awesome day today. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, totally mixed out today. Bitcoin kind of in the slight loss, Ethereum and a lot of the altcoins in the slight gains. We do have some altcoins doing quite well today. There were a lot of announcements that came out yesterday. Now, we did talk about a potential long opportunity for Bitcoin. We might have got a little bit too greedy with our level. Bitcoin only got down to about $11,564. So do I still think that Bitcoin could go a little bit lower to around the $11,400 level? Well, that is possible because you can see right here, having a look at this chart, we did touch the bottom of the trend. However, there's two main targets that we're looking for Bitcoin, depending on which way it breaks out. So the big question is, are we looking to retest that $12,500 level, or is Bitcoin going to end up falling all the way down to retouch the $10,300 to $10,500 level? Well, I do want to talk about that specifically today. Although, guys, let's be honest, throw in the towel, forget about Bitcoin, because Yearn.finance is officially worth more than Bitcoin. So that's it. Yearn is the new Bitcoin. Well, here's something that a lot of people that are new to the space may not understand. There's only 30,000 Yearn Finance tokens, okay? So because it has such a low supply, compared to the market cap, it equals 13,500. But if you look right here, it has a market cap of 400 million, whereas Bitcoin has a market cap of 218 billion. So Bitcoin is still worth more, just not technically per coin, okay? So don't get that confused. Lots of new people in this space, but seriously, we got to talk about why September is going to be a historic month for Bitcoin. And no, I'm not just talking about what George Ball said with his prediction for Labor Day, but I do want to talk about the historic regulation that is coming in Europe. Now, this is breaking news. You might not have even heard about this yet. I want to talk about why this is so important and what this could mean for the crypto space overall. I am very bullish about this as well, although there are some people saying that the dollar and Bitcoin are having some negative correlation, and the dollar did have a 1% recovery on the index. So does that mean that Bitcoin is doom and gloom for Bitcoin? Well, I'll give you my opinion on that as well. Also want to talk about a lot more projects getting into the DeFi space, as well as one particular niche that I do think will do quite well in the blockchain space, and that is NFTs, collectibles, gaming tokens, etc. So if all that sounds good to you today, jam-packed video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Get subscribed if you haven't. Join my free Telegram group. Drop a comment below if you want to win a free Ledger Nano S. We give one away every single week. And without further ado, let's dive into the chart. So, having a look right here. Now, interestingly enough, look at where we had this weekly touch right here. The original weekly level that we had to break, and I'll show you how I got this number, basically coming back to this level right here. This is where we had our highest weekly candles of 2019. And you can see right here, we had difficulty breaking above it. Once we finally did, we stayed above it. And even this week, although we have had that pullback, look at where we touched right there. So the previous macro resistance on the weekly has acted as the support. But the question is, could we potentially fall a lot lower, retesting all the way down to the bottom of this trend? Well, having a look right here, as I drew earlier in the video, you could see that we did respect this level. Now, I had two levels I was looking at. The first, we literally touched perfectly at around 11,500. And the second, we also had the nice 4-hour close, which is this trend right here. Now, in yesterday's video, we were a little bit greedy, okay? I was saying maybe we'd have a wick down into the $11,400 levels. And the reason that I was saying this is because a lot of times on the Bitcoin dips, Bitcoin tends to overshoot the support, right? It actually falls lower. There's multiple examples of it. Look, right here, right here. There's 3 candles right here. So I thought that maybe it would have a chance to go a little bit lower, because the thing is when you're trading on leverage, which I don't recommend for beginners, you want to try to sort of get those absolute bottom positions if you can. So I always try to shoot a little bit lower on the support, just in case we get that wick all the way down, because then you're just like totally in the profit, right? Could we potentially go down there again? I actually think there is a chance, because you could see that the previous heart line right here, you could see which held us right here as resistance, resistance again, then it became support, then it became resistance slash support again. Well, Well, we could see right here, we're being held down by it. So we could potentially come down to retest this level again. And, then we may have that overshot position. Now, if we do end up falling down even further than that, well, then yes, I do believe we could touch the $10,500 level. And if that doesn't hold, then I do believe we would come down to about the 9,800. But honestly, guys, I don't think Bitcoin is remotely that bearish. I think it would have to be a pretty intense crash, possibly a lot of manipulation, even something to cause that, to happen, right? Interestingly enough, right here, having a look at the ascending broadening wedge that we have over on CME futures, that could potentially signal that we are going to at least come down and retest my level of around the 11,400s, especially on the CMEs, because that would touch the bottom of this right here. Now, of course, we do have our CME futures gap, which has not been filled. That is represented by this blue box territory, and that's at around $9,735. So, do I think we're going to fill the CME futures gap? Well, honestly, guys, I don't want to get into that conversation today. Lots of controversy over the CME futures gap, but you can see right here that if we were to potentially come down and fill the CME futures gap, that would actually put us directly online with the macro weekly trend over here on BLX, which is still bullish, by the way. So is it possible? Technically, it's possible, but the one thing I want to point out right now is the 21 exponential is sitting at around $9,724. I do believe that when you are above it, you are bullish. We've been above it literally since April of this year. We've never gone below it. So that to me signals that we are in a massive uptrend. You can see the last time that we got above it was right here in April of 2019, and we stayed above that until around September 23rd of 2019. So we stayed up there for the most part of the whole year. So that is why I do believe we're still bullish. I do believe we're in an uptrend. Is it possible to pull back? Yes. I gave you guys some of my targets, not financial advice, but let's talk about this historic regulation that is coming for cryptocurrencies. Is the EU about to open the floodgates for the Bitcoin bulls? Well, they are in the final stages of a proposal. So you have the European Commission, the legislative body of the European Union, is in the final stages of a proposal for the region's first cryptocurrency and digital finance framework. This will be a historic event. Successful pages of the law and its subsequent adoption would provide for an optimal legal environment for crypto firms to build their businesses and add to the European economy. This is massive. We're not talking about just a handful of countries. We're talking about the entire European economy here. The Commission has spent the last year holding consultations with experts and defining cryptocurrencies. Some of these include recognizing digital currencies, both crypto assets like Bitcoin as well as stable coins as instruments and as financial instruments and introducing a framework for blockchain-based tech platforms. So this isn't only talking about just stable coins. They mention Bitcoin. They say that Bitcoin is, in fact, a financial instrument. Now, stay with me here, guys, because it gets better. So Bruno Schneider-Lassaut, the chairman of the crypto advocacy body European Blockchain Federation, noted that the qualification of crypto assets as final instruments place the asset class within the extensive set of European and national legal instruments that regulate the region's trillion-dollar financial market. Now, the legislation also detailed a plan to create a single market, this is the cool part, for cryptocurrencies so they could be sold across all European countries. This is similar to the introduction of the euro in 1999, which created a unified currency for all union members. Now they're all going to have a single market for cryptos, right? So also continuing on this, you have Commission Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis. He says that this is a good chance for Europe to strengthen its international standing and to become a global standard setter with European companies leading new technologies for digital finance. So the US better be careful here, because if the union over in Europe, if they really push this, and by the way, they're looking to basically have this come out, you can see right here in September. Now, of course, things could get pushed back. There could be delays, but on top of the fact that we have George Ball talking about September being a big deal for traders, possibly for Bitcoin, we're also seeing this news come out for the European Union. Literally, they're saying this is historic, could be a very, very big month. So even if August gets a little bit crazy at the end, right? We might potentially close this month out in a red candle. Don't freak out. I definitely think that we are still in an uptrend, and September could be a massive, massive month for Bitcoin. But wait, guys, the dollar index is up 1%. Should we freak out? Is this bad news for Bitcoin? Well, we have seen that Bitcoin does tend to have a negative correlation with the dollar index. However, yeah, they do say that continued recovery in the US dollar could yield further losses for Bitcoin, but a sustained rebound still looks unlikely. Interest rates will remain at rock bottom to stimulate the economy, increasing the chances that the Fed might be forced to more radical monetary measures. Now, let's talk about some altcoins. Everybody wants to hear about some altcoins, right? Big news from some of my favorite projects. Two of my favorite projects. We have Elrond and Dia literally collaborating together. Basically, you're going to have Elrond products and smart contracts available to access off-chain and cross-chain information via Dia oracles. So Elrond blockchain data will also be made available to Dia users. The existing data sets on Dia will be immediately available to Elrond smart contracts. And you actually have the Elrond CEO himself, Benjamin, saying DeFi and CeFi solutions depend on trustworthy data to reliably automate their processes and increase efficiency. We're excited to complement the Elrond high throughput and inexpensive mainnet with the rich data sets provided by Dia crowdsourced Oracle platform. So congratulations to everyone. And the key word here is DeFi, DeFi, DeFi. Everyone was saying DeFi, it's a bubble. Is it a bubble though, guys? I'm not too sure. It could be, but we are seeing lots of projects migrate. Even Qtum, for example, we spoke about them a lot of times on the channel previously. Now you have them announcing a bumper of $1 million fund to spur third-party developers to create, did you guys guess? DeFi applications on the quantum chain. So it says that their architecture does overlap with Ethereum significantly. They both use the Ethereum virtual machine and of course Solidity programming language, which does make it easy if developers hypothetically wanted to jump ship from Ethereum over to Qtum. It's not really complicated to make that switch. And they talk about the fact that Ethereum's network fees have gotten super high, soared. The mempool is filled. DeFi users have become frustrated. I know when I go to use, I'm over using Uniswap, I'm paying like $10 sometimes to do a swap. That's insane. That's crazy. That's never going to get adoption, guys. Now, I do know that ETH 2.0 is on its way, but there are a lot of differences between ETH and Qtum. For example, they do have higher throughput, obviously. And the other thing too is, Ethereum 2.0 is coming out with proof of stake, but these guys already use proof of stake. In fact, they have a proof of stake chain, and they use the UTXO model that was pretty much popularized by Bitcoin as well. They also have decentralized governance protocols that allow you to make specific changes on the block size as well as the modification of smart contracts. So basically, they're saying that they're more suitable for DeFi development. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Qtum, definitely, they've been out there grinding, lots of other projects, lots of competition for DeFi. Yesterday's news, we were talking about Algorand, right? They're up, I think, like 5% today off that news as well. Actually, I think Qtum is actually up a few percentage, 8% or so off the news as well. But yeah, do you guys think that Ethereum is going to be still the top project? Or do you think these other guys like Qtum or Elrond or just whoever, Algorand, all these different projects, do you think that they're going to have a piece of the pie? Or what do you guys think? Drop your comment below. Let me know about that. But speaking about what happened yesterday, so we had that change in the denomination of the Polkadot prices, right? Well, it looks like Gavin Wood, now keep in mind, he was co-founder over at Ethereum, and also he works on Polkadot as well. He was pretty upset about this. He was saying these centralized exchanges went against what the Polkadot community had agreed on, and this put everything at risk. And also some people, from what I heard, actually thought that because the price was lower, that it was a really good deal. So they bought in, and they kind of got tricked because they didn't understand that there was a change in the denomination. So actually, instead of buying cheaper, they were actually buying higher. So yeah, this is definitely a problem, with centralized entities. They kind of can do whatever they want, right? So yeah, that was an unfortunate situation that happened as well. But guys, on the lighter side, Paris Hilton has successfully sold an auction of a picture of her cat that she drew for 40 ETH as a non-fungible token. You guys want to see a picture? Here's a picture of it right here. This is right here. Like, this is her. Well, this is her drawing it. She's drawing it. So there you go. Yeah, well, here's the where's the final picture? There we go, right there. Okay, so this picture right here sold for 40 ETH. I don't know who paid 40 ETH for this, but somebody did. And that brings me to also Ashton Kutcher. He also put this on the blockchain. It's a star and a couple cartoon eyes, and he calls it the Eye of the Beholder. So yeah. Basically, this got sold on the blockchain as well over on Cryptograph. So basically, this brings me to the next segment of today's video, which is non-fungible tokens, gaming on blockchain. Is it the future? Is it revolutionary? Well, in my opinion, yes, it is. I spoke about this in several of my videos before, but in today's video, I'm going to go into that a little bit more as well. Things like CryptoKitties, Gods Unchained, collectibles, things that you actually own. And even over here, for example, blockchain-based real estate trading game DApp Radar. They're in the top 5 dApps, by the way. So Upland has expanded its metaverse to include New York City. They're adding virtual properties mapped to actual Manhattan addresses. And yeah, they're going to include the East Side, Midtown, Upper West Side, Upper East Side, and Chelsea. And one of the big ones recently, we saw that they did have a sale over on Binance, was the Sandbox. So I want to talk a little bit about the Sandbox today, because I personally do believe that non-fungible tokens, NFTs, blockchain gaming, maybe not 100% blockchain gaming until we get some of those scalable solutions, but I do believe that this is a massive game changer, and I think that it's going to bring a lot of people into the space. So for the remainder of the video, we are going to be talking about the Sandbox, what it's all about, what these guys are doing, what's up with the Sand token, what's up with the lands, what can you do on the platform, how can you make money by playing on the Sandbox, and shout out to the team from the Sandbox for offering to sponsor this segment of the video. It definitely helps me to be able to keep bringing all this content to you guys daily. So without further ado, let's dive in and have a look at the Sandbox. So what is the deal with the Sandbox? Well, let's head on over to sandbox.game and have a look. Now, right off the bat, you'll notice that the Sandbox is essentially a community-driven platform where creators can monetize voxel assets and gaming experiences on the blockchain. Now, we're going to get into all this in just a bit. Some people out there say, yeah, but isn't blockchain slow? How am I going to be able to play a game on it? Well, the Sandbox actually utilizes several different Ethereum tokens standards to make a seamless and fast and pleasurable gameplay experience. Now, we'll get into all that right away, though. Let's talk about the 3 main aspects of the Sandbox. Well, number one, we have the voxels and the vox editor, which is where essentially you can create and animate your voxel art. We have the marketplace, a one-place stop to sell all of your digital assets. These are non-fungible tokens, okay? So they are unique. They are very individual. They cannot be duplicated. So whatever items you have on the blockchain, you send them to somebody else. Now that person has that, right? And finally, the best part of all is the game maker, right? Where you can make and play any game. Now, let me go into a short detail on what each of these are, and then I want to talk about land, I want to talk about sand, and all the awesome things you could do with this platform. So, starting with the platform itself, we have the Vox Editor. So, this is basically a 3D voxel modeling package that allows users to create and animate 3D objects such as people, animals, foliage, and tools, voxels, which are basically the equivalent of square 3D pixels. I kind of like to think of them as Legos, right? They remind me of Legos, but virtual Legos. And you can use them to basically manipulate any shapes that you want. You can create all different kinds of assets, anything from, tangible objects to food to different types of creatures and things like that. The second thing we have is the marketplace. Now, this allows you to basically upload, publish, and sell your assets made in the Vox editor. Assets are first uploaded into an interplanetary file system. You may be familiar with IPFS, which is a network, and then they register on the Ethereum blockchain to prove ownership. Assets can be sold by making a sale offer on the marketplace. And finally, the most exciting part of the entire game is, of course, the gameplay. The Sandbox's game maker allows players to build 3D games for free with the help of visual scripting tools. No coding knowledge is required. And if you guys want to have sort of a quick look at what the game looks like specifically, I'm going to roll the clip super quick, and then I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive into how the ecosystem works. Pretty cool, right? So the first item when you go over to the website right here after home is the shop category. Now, this is where you can find all types of digital assets that can be bought and sold on the marketplace. You can see some of the examples that they have here. You have a blackboard, some wood pallets, you have a potato, a tomato, some radishes, turnips, apples, lots of food in here. It seems like, oh, here you go. Here's some characters, security tracker, forgotten diver. So yeah, I mean, it's literally up to the imagination of the creators of all the different things that you can have in here. And let's talk about land. Now, we're going to get to the sand token in just a bit, but the main aspect of this actual sort of world is the land token, right? Now, the Sandbox fourth land presale did launch and it completely sold out. You can see right here, this is basically all of the land that's been sold. And yeah, so if you are interested, if you missed out, don't worry. They are going to be having another sale. You need to definitely, check these guys out, subscribe to them. You see right here, they say they will announce they're having another land sale shortly. But lands are essentially blockchain-based tokens using the ERC-721 standard for non-fungible tokens. By the way, if you guys have no idea what any of these token standards are, I do recommend that you search for my video where I do go in to explain the different types of ERC token standards. That is popping above if you're interested. So, long story short, these lands represent physical parcels of the Sandbox metaverse. They allow players to own portions of the metaverse and be able to host content such as assets if you want to buy or sell, or games as well. So lands can be combined together to form estates. In the future, estates will have the potential to be owned by multiple players to form districts. So this thing it just keeps growing and expanding, right? The more it comes together. Lands can be purchased during land sales. There's also a discount on lands when bought as estates. And when a land is traded, all of its contents and assets are included in the trade. So when you sell somebody the land, just like in real life, you get whatever is on that land, right? So if that land has a building, a structure, it has different games, contests, assets, whatever, they all come with the land. So that is pretty cool as well. Now, talking about how you can earn money, that's what everybody wants to do, right? How can I monetize on my lands? Well, there's various different ways. You can choose to charge others in the sand token, which will be the main token of the ecosystem. Everything will function around the sand token, whether you want to buy or sell or utilize basically any type of anything really in the marketplace, you're going to have that sand token, right? You could play games. You could potentially sell your land if you want for profit. It also grants you a voice in governance of the sandbox. You can get involved in determining how the future of the platform will run, host events, and obviously get rewards for it. Now, just like in the real world, lands is limited. There's only a total of 166,464 lands that will ever be available in the Sandbox metaverse. You also have Gem and Catalyst. Also, they define the tiers, scarcity, and attributes of the asset. So Catalyst adds empty sockets to the NFTs that can be filled with gems. The higher the quality of the Catalyst, the more sockets your asset will have, okay? So you can monetize this by basically keeping 95% of sand as revenue, and this is shared by selling assets, owning land, building games. We spoke about that, right? And also what's cool is through the use of the ERC 1776, the Sandbox allows platform users to integrate transactions onto the Ethereum blockchain, while transaction gas fees are actually paid by the platform. So this optimizes user experience, right? So when you're actually playing this game, a lot of people think like, blockchain gaming is slow and you can't really execute a lot of things all at once, right? Well, no, they've actually found ways to speed up this process. In fact, you can see right here, I already spoke about IPFS being used to store all the information, but basically they use the ERC20 standard for SAM, Gem, and Catalyst. Now, this is basically the token standard that you're used to. If you own a token right now in your wallet, chances are, if you're buying and trading it on the exchanges, it's an ERC20. But they also have ERC 1155 and ERC 721, which essentially allows you to batch a bunch of transactions all in one, which helps to make that faster gameplay. And that's what they're using for the trading of land and assets as well, right? Now, let's talk about the partnerships with these guys. So these guys are pretty serious. There are a lot of names on this list that you would definitely recognize. Now, Matic Network, we have Maker, Atari, Square Enix, okay? I know everybody loves some Final Fantasy out there. DAP, okay? We spoke about them on the channel. Lots of guys on here if you haven't checked it out. And this list is only growing day by day. So having a look once again back here, how do you get started? How do you start to play this game? Because keep in mind, really, it is a game, right? Ultimately. Well, it's really simple. You basically just go right up here. You go to sign in. Make sure you have some type of an Ethereum wallet. I personally find MetaMask is the easiest for me. I just think it integrates really well with different browsers. You can use it on Brave, okay? I know a lot of people like Brave browser. You can also use it on Google Chrome. So basically, you just go to your account. You can either, if you want, you connect with Facebook, Twitter, Google. You can connect your Bitski wallet, but like I said, I like to use my Web3 wallet, so I basically just connected with MetaMask. Then you have to enter your email, your nickname that'll be used, and you have to pick a password, and that is it. Then essentially, you can basically buy land, which right now they're not actually having a sale, but if you are interested, make sure you go to the pre-register button because they're going to notify you. You saw how fast the last sale sold out, so you definitely want to get in on that. And then you can go and buy some assets, or you can create some assets as well. And basically, that is what you do on the Lands platform. And, over here, it's a very simple interface. You go here, you click here. Here's the shop. Here's where you go to create. You obviously have to connect whether you have Windows or Mac. Here's the map right here, which obviously all of this is sold out right now. So if you are looking to get some of that land, you definitely want to get in on the next sale right here. You can see that there is still a lot of land that has yet to be had. So there will be that in the future. And if you do want more information, you can head over to the Binance research page on the Sand token itself, which will be the utility token for basically everything within the ecosystem. So definitely check out the Sandbox. It is, guys, you know how I feel about blockchain gaming. You know that I do think that Basically, there is a lot of use cases for games on the blockchain. Now, maybe not having the entire game necessarily on the blockchain, but non-fungible tokens, ownership of your own assets, that is something that I think is absolutely revolutionary, absolutely game-changing. And, you know, if you're like me and you grew up, you know, in the 80s and 90s, you know, a lot of games, they didn't save your progress, or, yeah, you know, you had an award, but where was that award stored? On your own game or in a centralized database? Now, these assets, these, you know, weapons or food items or games or land or, you know, characters are actually yours. You can trade them, you can sell them, you can hodl them, create them, and I don't know. I just think that's really cool. And for me, I definitely see the Sandbox as being one of the games at the forefront, potentially, you know, bridging the traditional world to the blockchain world. And every single time I see something like this, it just gets me more and more excited for the future of blockchain, cryptocurrency, gaming. You know the drill, guys. So definitely check out the Sandbox. So let me know what you guys think about that. Are you going to be playing the Sandbox? Have you been playing it? What is your experience like? I would love to hear about it below. Thanks so much again for coming back to the channel. My name's K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.